This is Ken Smith reminding you it happened today, May 14th, but the year was 1787, and delegates gather in Philadelphia to begin writing the United States Constitution. It was on this day, May 14th, 1796, that an English country doctor, Edward Jenner, administers the first inoculation against smallpox. It was on this day, May 14th, 1804, Lewis and Clark begin their expedition, leaving from St. Louis to discover the wilderness all the way to the Pacific Ocean. It was on this day, May 14th, 1918. Sunday baseball is made legal in Washington, D.C. It was on this day, May 14th, 1969, that abortion and contraception is legalized in Canada. It was on this day, May 14th, 1998, Seinfeld's final two-part episode, the finale, airs on NBC. It was on this day, May 14th, just a year ago, 2019, that San Francisco, California, is the first city to ban the use of facial recognition. But that was May 14th in the past. This is May 14th, 2020. Research now reveals that working from home as a result of the pandemic has had only a 1% reduction on work productivity. More than 40% of workers would prefer to work remotely, even after the ban is lifted. 3 of New York City's largest commercial tenants, Barclays, JP Morgan Chase, and Morgan Stanley, with tens of thousands of workers commuting into Manhattan, now as the city and the companies wrestle with plans to reopen, executives at all 3 firms have decided that it's highly unlikely that all their full-time office workers will ever return to those buildings. With the rise of stress from the virus, there is also a rise in the use of alcohol and drugs. Findings from the Recovery Village, a Florida-based network of addiction treatment facilities, they had an expected increase in substance abuse. But the rise reported by Americans comes as a surprise. A rise just last month of 55% usage of alcohol. And last month, a rise in the use of illicit drugs, including marijuana and prescription opioids, continues to grow just last month by 36%. The Inn at Washington, Virginia, has plans to reopen. Instead of letting tables sit half vacant, the owner plans to outfit his dining rooms at every other table with mannequins. Servers will be instructed to pour wine and ask the mannequins about their evening. The staff is doing deep cleaning with infrared light. They've created custom-made mannequins, some bearing the resemblance of Marilyn Monroe, others of George Washington's chiseled chin. Well, here's hoping that the actual diners don't have doll phobias. In St. Louis, a Missouri couple, 85-year-old Bill Oldwig and his 83-year-old wife, Patricia, they got a cough around the same time just a couple of weeks ago. Both suffered from medical problems that put them at high risk. They've been married 61 years. They died this month, less than an hour apart, from COVID-19 complications. The pandemic has wreaked havoc with the Vatican's finances, forcing it to dip into reserve funds with some of the most difficult cost-cutting measures. The pandemic has drastically slowed the flow of funds, $100 million a year from the Vatican museums, which received some 7 million visitors last year. They're almost virtually closed. Estimated income for the Vatican is estimated to fall between 25 and 45%. In the face of all this, mortgage applications to buy a new home rose by 11% last week in the U.S., signaling potential resilience of the housing market. The gains took place despite the average 30-year mortgage rate rising to 3.43%. New York State led the purchase demand with a 14% increase. Pennsylvania's Secretary of Health admitted today to taking her mother out of a nursing home and putting her in a hotel, while at the same time ordering virus-infected patients to stay in nursing homes. So there's good news, there's bad news, there is confusing news. And in the face of all that, we cannot live trying to solve or understand tomorrow's problems. Why? Because this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is Ken Smith reminding you it happened today, May 14th, 2020.